As men grow older, especially after the age of 60 or 70, life often turns out quite differently from what society expects. Many older men end up living alone, without a partner beside them. Almost immediately, people begin to form assumptions about their situation. They imagine loneliness, sadness, or even failure. But what if those assumptions are wrong? Meet a 70-year-old retiree named Janathan. One afternoon, as he sat quietly on a park bench, he overheard someone whisper, "He must be miserable living alone at this age." Janathan didn't respond or try to correct them. Instead, he simply smiled to himself, knowing that the reality of his life was something most people wouldn't easily understand. For many older men, living alone is not necessarily a symbol of loss. In some cases, it represents clarity. For others, it is the long-awaited arrival of peace after years of noise, obligations, and constant demands. Before going further, remember to subscribe to our channel for thoughtful and respectful insights about aging and life after 60. In this video, we dive into the real experiences of older men who live alone and uncover 5 surprising realities that both seniors and their families should understand. The first surprising reality is that many older men who live alone are not lonely, they are simply more selective about how they spend their time. After many years of relationships, responsibilities, social expectations, and emotional burden, many older men develop a deeper understanding of what drains their energy and what brings them tranquility. When people are young, they often seek constant company because silence feels uncomfortable. But with age, quiet moments can become deeply restorative. Janathan once admitted that he used to fear empty, quiet rooms when he was younger. Now, he finds them comforting. The television doesn't need to run all day, and the phone doesn't have to keep ringing or buzzing. At last, the mind has room to relax and breathe. Psychological research supports this idea. Seniors who intentionally choose solitude, instead of experiencing it unwillingly, often report greater emotional stability. They tend to think more clearly, feel comfortable, and experience less pressure from social expectations. The second important reality is emotional freedom. Living alone can eliminate the constant need for emotional negotiations that often exist in close relationships. This does not mean older men dislike women or companionship. Instead, it suggests that many have moved beyond the stage of life where they feel the need to constantly prove themselves or live up to expectations. Earlier in life, many men face relentless pressure to earn more, provide more, appear strong, and be emotionally supportive, but not overly emotional. They are expected to be independent yet always reliable. Over time, that balancing act can become exhausting. In golden years, many men come to an important realization: inner peace matters more than seeking validation. Research also indicates that reduced stress in golden years can improve heart health, enhance sleep quality, and sharpen mental clarity. Many seniors report sleeping better once they begin living alone, not because someone else was disturbing them, but because their minds eventually feel at ease. The third reality often surprises many families: older men who live alone frequently take better care of themselves than people expect. Family members sometimes assume that an older man on his own will forget meals, ignore medication, or neglect his health. Yet in many situations, the opposite proves true. When a man lives alone, his daily routine becomes tailored to his own needs. He eats when he is genuinely hungry instead of following a strict schedule. He rests when his body requires it. Exercise can even become more regular because there is no pressure or rushing from others. When Janathan began living alone, he developed a simple habit of walking each morning. At first, it was just 20 minutes, then 30, and eventually close to an hour. He also started preparing basic meals, nothing elaborate, just nutritious and balanced food. Over time, he lost weight, his blood pressure improved, and for the first time in many years, he began sleeping deeply. Independence, in many cases, encourages responsibility rather than neglect. The fourth reality is widely misunderstood: living alone does not mean living without love. As people age, love often changes its shape. It becomes calmer, simpler, and less focused on intensity and more on stability. Many older men maintain strong relationships with friends, children, neighbors, or their social circles. Some enjoy companionship without needing to define it. Others build strong friendships or devote time to helping others, mentoring younger people or serving their communities. Society often mistakes the absence of romance for a lack of emotional connection. But meaningful relationships do not always require romance or living together. The fifth, and perhaps most misunderstood reality, is that many older men living alone experience a deeper sense of peace than they did earlier in life. Growing older reshapes priorities. Time feels more valuable. Drama loses its appeal. Conflict becomes unnecessary. Emotional chaos, once exciting, now simply feels draining. Living alone gives many men the ability to protect their peace. Janathan once expressed this feeling clearly when he said, "For the first time in my life, I live at my own pace." Research also supports this idea. Older adults who feel they have control over their daily routines often experience lower stress and greater life satisfaction. However, it is important to acknowledge that living alone is not ideal for everyone. Some men struggle with isolation, particularly if their solitude results from the death of a spouse, divorce, or distance from family. There is a clear difference between healthy solitude and harmful loneliness. Signs of unhealthy loneliness may include deep sadness, losing interest in life, neglecting personal health, or withdrawing completely from social interaction. Still, for many seniors, living alone is not about escaping life, it is about choosing how to live it. With age comes clarity. Illusions fade, and important lessons emerge. Happiness does not always depend on partnership, and fulfillment does not necessarily need romance. Sometimes joy is found in quiet mornings, simple routines, a warm cup of coffee, a peaceful walk, and the freedom to live authentically without needing to explain yourself. For many older men, living alone is not a tragedy. Instead, it represents a stage of peace, self-respect, emotional balance, and self-discovery, one that took many years to reach.